Planning is a way to maximize the results of your life and maximize your sense of fulfillment and joy. If you find your passion, you're gonna have this tremendous energy. It's sustainable energy. But momentum requires you always do the next thing to keep the momentum going. And the reason you get yourself in a passionate place is so that you change your life, and the only thing that changes your life is making a decision. So while you're in this passionate state, that's where you make decisions. You don't make decisions when you're like, oh, I don't know, what do you think? All right, let's decide. If you make a decision in a state without momentum, if you make a decision from a place where there's no passion, you are not going to get momentum. It'll kill momentum. It's decide, commit, and resolve.
You can achieve the biggest goal in the world if you just break it down into enough small pieces. And you know the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So that's the key to keeping you on track and keeping you motivated. But make sure you attach a number to every step so that you can measure if you've completed it. The ×7 method. He said, take your goal and write out 7 things that you'll have to do to achieve that goal, and then write 7 things you'll have to do to achieve each of those 7 things, which ends up with a total of 49 steps. Now, I've only done this a few times because I don't have problems with procrastination, but it's extraordinarily effective. Remember, 80% of goal achievement comes from the first 20% of time that you spend laying out the goal in each step of the goal in the first place. That first 20% will save you 80% of the time in achieving the goal at the end. So give that a try. A major reason for procrastination and lack of motivation is vagueness and confusion about what you're trying to do and for what reason. You must avoid this common condition by striving for greater clarity in your major goals and tasks. Once you have clarity, you can make a plan to accomplish your goals, and procrastination will be a thing of the past. And how do you get clarity? You write it down, write it down, write it down.
So how can we overcome procrastination? This goal that you're trying to pursue that is, believe it or not, much worse than just being amotivated. And when I say worse, I don't mean picking some task that normally you don't like to do, but now you're willing to do. I mean, literally thinking about what would be worse than being in this state. Again, without causing yourself tissue or psychological damage. What would be worse? Well, cold water would be worse for many people, very cold water. So the key is to figure out something that, for lack of a better way to put it, really sucks, and yet is safe. And by doing that, you steepen the trough, you steepen the slope of the trough, which we know brings you back to your baseline level of dopamine more quickly. Now, for some people, that will be deliberate cold exposure through cold shower, ice bath. And I have to tell you that if you're cringing as I say this, well then, there you go. You now have a tool that you know you cringe even when you just think about, and therefore represents a great tool for you. So if I'm procrastinating to do something I really need to do, should I just simply wait for that procrastination to evaporate? No. Will it eventually evaporate? Maybe. Will a deadline eventually surface that will trigger me into an anxious or activated state that will allow me to complete what needs to be done? Maybe. Hopefully. But better would be to get out of that amotivated state, that state of procrastination, quickly.
We know from the research on procrastination and overcoming it that gaining knowledge, being aware of self-worth theory and these dynamics helps people overcome these things. To understand the roots of procrastination helps us weaken it. We know where it comes from. I can be aware of and see these dynamics happening in front of me. But another kind of awareness is to gain awareness of what we're feeling. What do approach motives feel like versus avoidance? We know when we're cleaning the fridge in our dorm room the night before the final exam that that's procrastination. But there are other times it's not so clear. Is checking your email procrastination? Is studying or doing the task on the low important item on your list, is that procrastination? A lot of times it is. So the more we know, the greater awareness we have of our tendencies and our motivations, we're more likely to overcome them. So we want to cultivate a stance, an observer stance, to say, what does this feel like? What am I experiencing? What am I thinking? so that we can then actively choose what we want to feel and think and what we're motivated by. And these next few strategies tell us how to do that.
When you procrastinate your biggest projects, you ultimately procrastinate your own personal success. So eliminate the big 3 causes of procrastination and build more momentum and achieve new levels and tackle even bigger projects down the road. Number 1, eliminate the big projects on your to-do list. These are the ones that are overwhelming. You don't really even know where to start. Tackle this big project by breaking it down into small 5-minute increments and just list on your to-do list the next 5-minute action that you need to take. Number 2 is to eliminate the abstract words on your to-do list. Things like research, plan, strategize, or contact. If you've got any words like that, instead of abstract, make them concrete. For example, instead of research, put Google and put the term in that you're going to Google for research. Instead of contact, actually put if you're going to call or email that person. Instead of strategize, think draft or outline something, just something enough to get you going and go from that abstract action on there to a concrete one, and notice how much easier it is to execute and help you make progress beyond procrastination. And the last one is risky stuff that's new, that's unknown, and you've never done this before. Instead of tackling the big or risky project, break it down into something maybe small and very easily done, but still a little bit outside your comfort zone, and note how much easier it is to stop procrastinating and start making progress. So eliminate those 3 things from your to-do list and ultimately eliminate procrastination and make a lot more progress in your workday.
I'll tell you, it is not the end game. And so then they go after their second billion. Or you think it's getting married, and then you get it and you find out it's not the end game. There's certain needs that have to be there, and the ultimate needs are growing and giving. Because you only can feel so good filled up by yourself. So my core belief is, I gotta serve, I can lead. Because I believe motive does matter. If my motive is just to get you to do something for me, if I strategize, if I think, if I feel, and also if it serves a greater good, even if I don't intend it. If the bumblebee goes to try to get the nectar it wants, its selfish goal, I believe there's a higher power that guides it all. And when that bumblebee goes, it doesn't intend to give anything but pollen sticks to its legs. As it goes about trying to get what it wants, that's how flowers are created. I really believe that everything has a web of connection. If your intent is to serve yourself, you're still gonna serve something more than yourself, and you're gonna get a certain amount of insight. If your intent and your motive is to serve something yourself, but also something more, just your kids. Every day of our lives, we live in a world that is incredibly complex. And you have to remember, we all have a 2-million-year-old brain. And it's not designed to make you happy, it's designed to make you survive. So it's always looking for what's wrong. So why would we allow this to be? Because it's just a bad habit. And so we need a daily practice. And so I want to show you how I do this for me, and I want you to create your own system based on it. This mind serves me. I don't negotiate with it. Remember I told you? I don't say, well, I'll do this. Well, maybe we could do it. Maybe we'll jump in the water now. It's like, it knows I'm not here to negotiate. When I say it, we do it. That's what we want to train ourselves to do today. Whenever you want to make a change or improve something, the first place you want to improve it is in your mental, emotional state. If you do something from a pissed off state, from an exhausted state, from a frustrated state, from a weak state, it won't matter what you do. The thoughts are weak when you're in a weak place. The actions are weak. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you a simple breathing pattern. And the breathing pattern, if you're familiar with yoga, it's like breath of fire. It's similar to breath of fire. And it's a movement. And what it's going to look like is this. So much of our time that keeps us from succeeding is because we fill our life up with stuff that really doesn't matter, or it's so damn urgent, but it's not important. And most people fail because they do all the urgent crap, not important. I know you know this intellectually, but when you come spend time with us, we want to make sure you get real results. So before you come, we're here to make sure you get the result that you want. And that'll only happen if you can be honest with yourself and say, all these things look important, but they're not. I need to look at the things that really matter. Concentration of power is how you become powerful and successful at anything. When you're focused on a million things and you're trying to do them all, it's not going to work. When you concentrate and say, these are the most important things in life, these small number of things, I'm going to put my energy and my focus into that, that's when your life will change. So make the list and see if you come up with what are some of the things I do that just don't fulfill me really. I did them because I've done them for years, or I did them because they're a habit, or I did them because everybody wants me to do them. But what really matters and what doesn't? What are those things that'll free you up? So we show you how to be able to extract that knowledge and grow and share it with the world. You can build this business and you don't have a bunch of distractions out there.